This is a nice little occasion.
Yes, it is.
Get to be treated by one of the Floress brothers, so I
Yeah,
like it.
man. One of the three.
I know.
One of the three.
I try to get Ryan on,
We'll
but
get them all eventually.
he
Yeah,
can't come on, obviously due to security or issues. So I'm like, all right, well,
right.
we'll just keep you on. That's good.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody's night going? Hope everybody's having a good night. Hope you feel better, Matt. We miss you. Yeah, for sure, Matt. Hopefully we'll get you in here in a couple days whenever you're feeling better. But let's just go ahead and jump right in, man. Just let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Jason Flores. I'm just now going into my senior year of college at Belmont Abbey College. It's about 15 minutes south of Charlotte. And this is going to be my fourth and final year of lacrosse, possibly final, because eligibility was rewarded back from the NCAA due to the virus and all that stuff. So it's kind of just if I want to fork up more money on it and, maybe get some little minor or whatever. But yeah, man, been playing since sixth grade and just kind of wanted to talk about like what it's like being a student athlete at the college level as opposed to like high school and below.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like ooh, that's a weird position. I feel like college athletes kind of get like a bad rep, you know.
yeah, yeah, and that's something I actually wanted to touch on is like especially the difference in divisions. So I'm actually NCAA Division two,
Okay.
um,
What's the difference?
but so Division one is like your UGA, your huge schools and stuff like that.
Oh, it's not based off of
Typically,
like skill level or
not necessarily, no, because I know especially in lacrosse, there's a lot of Division two teams. Like I know ours can beat a lot of Division one teams.
It has to do with school size and your
Funding and that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
oh, I thought it was strictly based off of like skill level. So
I
if you
mean, it
guys,
can
Yeah.
it does in some aspects, but not in all of
yeah,
them.
because I know,
Well, I feel like it's not even necessarily skill level. It's like those bigger schools, since they have more people and they have that appeal,
yeah.
then they kind of draw in more athletes.
Well, that
You
makes
know?
sense.
But like Limestone College, for
Yeah.
instance, they're D1, aren't they still?
No, they're D2. And I mean, that's the thing though, is you look at now, a lot of these Division two teams, whereas it was Limestone that was just dominating every year, always winning the national championship. Well, now you're getting, teams like us, Belmont Abbey, where we, had a higher rank than them at the end of the season that got cut short. And we were going to play them, I think, a week before uh, everything got cut short. Um, but
Did you get a scholarship to
yeah,
play or?
yeah, yeah. So I'm on scholarship. There's two different types. There's guys that walk on. So the school doesn't have any like financial responsibility to them as far as the athletics program.
Right.
So like anyone could play if they wanted to. But yeah, I mean, specific guys, the ones that are typically recruited are given athletic scholarship. And then there are some cases, and I know this is mainly in smaller schools like mine, where you could get a lot more just by saying, because they have caps on scholarship amounts.
Right.
So if you get the best, academic, or if you qualify for the best academic scholarship at that program, then you wouldn't even need the athletic. And in fact, if you took the athletic, then it might lower the amount of money you're getting by probably about 3-4 grand.
So I think
So
that's like, isn't that like a typical argument that people kind of say when they're talking about student athletes and whether or not they should get compensated in some sort of way? Like they should
yeah,
get paid.
so
Like, do you believe that student athletes should get paid?
um, I do, but I wouldn't say even at minimum wage,
Really?
because yeah, the thing is you know you're devoting at least 20 hours a week, especially when in season. It's at least 20 plus hours a week just on lacrosse.
Yeah.
And so when you're balancing a full course load and playing a full-time sport, and I mean, that's just time that requires you to be present with the coaches.
I got you.
That 20 plus hours, the other stuff. So it's time that you spend watching film, looking over the scouting report, extra time in the weight room, extra time on the field, all that kind of stuff. It all builds up. And so really your time is pretty much limited to school and whatever sport you're playing.
I got you.
So the problem is there just isn't that much time for us to get employment,
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
So yeah, and so like this past semester, or sorry, fall semester, I did a job where they were very lenient, and I worked like Friday nights from maybe 9 to 11, and then I worked Sundays the whole day. And I mean, even that, it was just really hard to maintain. And your Sundays, your one day where you can actually relax, take an ice bath, whatever you got to do to get yourself ready.
Oh, take an ice bath. That's scary.
Yeah, ice bath.
What's
Those
up, guys?
lovely.
What's up, David, Dell? How you guys doing tonight? You guys doing all right? Hope you're doing well. So I guess part of the argument, and Strickland chime in on this, because do you play lacrosse at school right now? No, you did play in high school, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
yeah, we did, Jason.
You know way more about sports than I do. I am not a sports
knew when
guy.
I had a bad day. Strickland knew when I had a bad
day. Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, I'm not a sports guy, so Strickland's here to commentate for me or help inform me on specific topics, especially football. I can't even.
Ooh. Oh man, what were we trying to talk about the other day or a couple podcasts ago? What, The Last Dance? And that was a struggle for you, Dylan.
Yeah, dude.
I wanted to get into it.
Dude, I didn't think I was gonna get into that, and oh my god.
It was so good.
It is good.
What is it?
It's Michael Jordan's documentary.
Yeah. Michael Thorne?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, Michael Jordan. I think Zach was trying to tell me he was watching that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you don't even have to like sports. If you like documentaries, you'll get into that.
Watch the ESPN version though, because it's better. It like isn't the clean version. I watched the clean version on Hulu. I was kind of disappointed.
Oh, I got you. So I guess let's go back to the student athlete thing with.
Okay.
Dude, my brain is lagging so hard. I need to chug way more coffee than I have. Please don't let Dylan talk about sports. Yeah. Sports are not my forte. But I guess getting compensated for, playing sports. So, a lot of the argument is, student athletes get the scholarship, whereas, an everyday student like me, I don't get that athletic scholarship. So is that not some sort of like compensation?
And that's one of the reasons why I'd say if we did get paid, not minimum wage, like not even minimum wage, so less than that, just something, for day to day. But I mean, realistically, you got to understand a program. I know for a fully funded D1 lacrosse program, and this is lacrosse. So football, they get a lot more funding, but a fully funded Division I lacrosse program, I think gets 13 full ride scholarships. And so that means that out of their, 80, 60 guy roster, the guys that they want to have scholarships, they have 12 full rides to split amongst all of them.
Wow, really? Damn.
So when they say that, yes, we are getting scholarships, you might be getting 4,000 off.
You're not getting a whole
full ride.
Right. And I think a lot of people,
like maybe a half of it, a third of it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these people think that, when we say we're getting scholarship, that we're not paying for our school and all this and that and stuff. No, I mean, we're still paying. And that's, why I said, I don't even know that I'd take my 5th year is, you're paying a lot of money still. You're still going to school and stuff, but you're just getting some off because you really are, you're bringing revenue into the school by, hey, no one would have ever heard of our school had it not been for athletics,
Right.
Like Belmont Abbey College, it's run by monks, like no one knows about it. And then, sports hit it and it just started shooting off. And I mean, they were still growing a little bit, but like once they started getting recruitment going for all these sports, they just skyrocketed, man. I mean, like it's crazy. And, all of our teams are starting to get better and better and better. And I mean, just since I've been at Belmont Abbey, over the last 3 years, we went from first time ever getting conference championship, then first NCAA playoff appearance. And then this year we were 3rd in the nation, 7-0, best. We like broke all school records.
Damn.
So close.
And we were like, we legitimately thought we were going to Philly. Like, it wasn't just yo guys, we're actually going to go. It was, we're going. Like we expected to go, we really thought we were going to the national championship, and then boom, day before one of our games, just all this hit.
Wait, the whole coronavirus?
Yep.
Damn,
Yep,
dude.
We got
Young people.
well, and it was just so wild because like the day that it happened, we all just like, you woke up in the morning, you're like, oh, a couple programs folded, whatever, that they're just wimps and stuff. And it didn't really sink in how serious it was until the next day, that day where everyone and everything, whole leagues were canceling and not just
NCAA just shut
yeah.
down. Like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, and it was wild. And I remember hearing that, the NCAA closed all national championships. And at that time, we weren't even suspended yet. So we were still good to go and stuff. And then after practice that day, it kind of sunk in. And I was like, wait, there's no national championship. What would we be playing for? Like, okay, at best you win. And, it's just a number one on the standings for a year, but it's not like there's no national championship that you bring home. There's no trophy that you bring home. There's no ring that you get and all that stuff. So
Right.
It just kind of got to this point to where you were like, don't get me wrong. I want to keep playing, but for what?
Do they have you on like some sort of regimen or schedule since you're off right now? Like, are they making sure that are they suggesting that you practice and keep the skill up, or?
Yeah, so they'll send stuff, and because every summer and every winter break, we get our workout packet and all that kind of stuff and plays and anything that we would have gone over when we were at school. But usually they all have like stuff that you do in a weight room and all that kind of jazz. But then we get this one, and it's all, push-ups and then like all plyometrics pretty much, which are just body only workouts.
Right.
And then running kind of stuff and stick work because all you got to find is a big cinder block wall and you can work on your stick.
You got to get that wall ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got my 20 minutes in today, so I'm good. But yeah, so we all got those packets, but it was just such a shock to see like no bench press, no squat, nothing like that. It was all body weight squat and push up and stuff like that. And they'd have like the occasional dumbbell workout, and they said if you don't have a dumbbell, do this because they know,
gyms are closed. Yeah. Except to Georgia. You can go to Georgia for some gyms.
Yeah. So my gym actually opens up Friday. I'm excited about that.
Are you back in Georgia?
Friday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. LA Fitness opens Friday, but yeah, I've been in Georgia since March, maybe 15th-ish.
Are you at the new house?
At the new house.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to come see that when I get back because that house looks super cool.
Dude, it's awesome, man. And we just got our kayaks too on a Saturday, so I've been kayaking every day.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Where do you live now, Jason?
We moved like 30 minutes away, so about literally 5 minutes from Lambert.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like Johns Creek area.
Yeah. Swanee, Johns Creek, like we're like 5-10 minutes from McInnes Ferry, and then
oh wow,
5 minutes from 20 and all that stuff. So yeah, no, it's not far at all, and still pretty familiar. So it wasn't too hard of a move. But this place, I was shocked because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss this old house. This is where I've grown up. This is the only thing I remember and all this stuff. Get here, forgot about it in 3 days.
I bet.
Yeah, I feel that. I just moved too, so like I felt that.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
It's really weird.
I mean, it helps that like I've been moving around so much in the last 3 years, from home to dorms and then dorms back to home and then that to an apartment and actually a new set of dorms, then an apartment and back here. And now just kind of every now and again, I'll take a trip to my apartment for like a day or something, but.
I got you.
Yeah.
Dell says, why would people be against the idea of getting paid for your services? And then David says, should college athletes get paid in quotation marks? Yes and no. I don't think the college should pay them, but if brands want to sponsor them, then they should be able to sell their autograph for it.
That's like getting
paid something
for
I was getting
likeness.
Yeah, I was getting ready to touch on that. I think Strickland, you might know about this. It might have been a video game or something like that, but their college football players are starting to be able to get. Yeah, they're starting to be able to get paid. But it's not through the school. It's through endorsements and all that
it's
stuff.
paid for their likeness. So like if they sell jerseys and like people buy their jerseys and stuff like that, which is it really makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's
still not
fair.
going to make an NCAA. Apparently, they already said that they couldn't or wouldn't do that, and that's very upsetting. I want NCAA to come back.
I mean, but I think that really is fair though. Like if a college athlete excels and everyone's watching them and all this stuff, they're buying their jerseys anyways. It's like this guy put in, you know, 18 to 22 years of damn hard work. And yeah, he's getting scholarship. Yeah, he's getting, airtime and stuff like that, but he's not really seeing that. The school is seeing
He's
that.
not getting the check.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like athletes getting paid for their likeness, like people buying their stuff, because that's a real motivator for people.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think that. And like, yeah, I really don't think that the school necessarily needs to pay because, I mean, they're paying their portion.
Well, if they pay,
yeah,
that means tuition goes up. So.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in a roundabout way, I mean, the money's got to come from somewhere, and it's not going to come from ticket sales. So.
Well, and so what they're hoping is that, because they have a strong sports team, they're going to bring in even regular students because they want to go support that team,
Right.
Like if you grow up a diehard Georgia fan and you're not going to play at Georgia, but you want to go to Georgia because you want to go, watch them play every weekend,
right?
Then that's a motivator for you to go there. So that's where they're getting that extra tuition money in.
Right. No, I mean, I completely agree. But a lot of the argument for why student tuition costs have risen over the years has come from overpaid staff and higher education positions, apparently. And
also them just building new shit on campuses.
Yeah, and they say that it also comes from partially through the sports program because they're trying to. I mean, sports generates a lot of income for a lot of these colleges, right. But at the same time, it still places a lot of stress on some of the students. And I don't know the full argument, but that's just something I heard. So
yeah, I mean. And it sucks because I feel like tuition prices, that's kind of like, I don't know the word for it, but like, that's not really what gets me. What gets me is the schools that are hiking up room and board and they're building all these, dorms and stuff and saying, okay, you have to live on campus and it's going to cost this much. And it's like, okay, well, that's ridiculous.
Wait, do you have to live on campus as a student athlete?
So for your freshman year, you do.
Okay, yeah, you did. You did at UGA, regardless of whether or not you were a student athlete.
And that's what I'm saying is I think that's the part that's kind of ridiculous. Is like I'd rather pay an extra $1,000 or something on tuition if I could just find my own place and like not be required to live there. And I'm not even opposed to doing it just for freshman year. Like if freshman year you want them to live there, that's kind of understandable. It's college, you want people to mingle, all that kind of stuff. I think in that sense it kind of facilitates that.
Yeah.
But after that, you're living in a shoebox, sharing a toilet with, a bunch of other people. And it's just like, I don't want that, man.
Yeah. My freshman year was, I lived in a dormitory, like a high rise. And it was just like a one giant male bathroom that you just go into, take showers, you shared dorms with everybody. Like it was.
I'm so glad we didn't have one of those.
No, honestly, it was fun. It was real fun. Yeah. Like I highly recommend if you have the chance, if you're not in college yet and you have the chance to live in a high rise, go do it. You meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Some interesting situations.
Yeah.
One of the things that I liked about the dorms though is that like you are all connecting and stuff like that. Like you're forced to kind of mingle with everyone. So that I kind of like, but at my school, my freshman year, I lived in a shoebox with two other guys. And it was 9 of us sharing one toilet, one shower, and two sinks. And I think it was 8 out of the 9 were student athletes.
Really?
So it was just, it was everyone's shower. And you're like sitting there waiting to shower and you got an 8 a.m. after a 6 a.m. lift and stuff. And you're just like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, everyone in my class, you're going to have to deal with this.
Yeah, it was definitely rough fighting over showers, but if you timed it right, you got the showers. Like you didn't have to worry about it. But just the interconnectedness with everybody that was there. I mean, we formed a whole ultimate frisbee team that year.
Yeah.
Like none of us were student athletes. We were just like, all right, let's just go fuck around. And I mean, we went out together. We did everything together. It's probably my most fun year of college was freshman year. And everything
Yeah.
after that. No. Oh no, we were terrible. No, we were terrible. It was fun though. I mean, great bonding experience. Like everybody had a great time. Like it was just fun. Highly recommend High Rises. David, I don't like living indoors. He says, I think college is kind of already paying them through their scholarships. They should get paid their endorsements and stuff. Yeah, so I know we were talking about college tuition earlier and college prices. What's it like up there? Is it any different? I mean, you're out of state.
Yeah, so that was one of the worst things about my senior year of high school was getting called to the front office and having to sign away hope because I was going out of state and private. So obviously at school, you know, I made sure I could get every bit of scholarship money humanly possible. So right now I'm on athletic and academic, where I maxed out my academic to the point where it would allow my athletic to cover the rest of the cap. And then I got a couple third party. But I'm still looking at, I think, $8,000 a semester.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as much as what UGA was. I mean, UGA is just a big
That's
school.
actually pretty good.
UGA is UGA. So, you know, someone sees a degree from UGA and then Belmont Abbey, they're going to be like, is this even real? Where is this?
Private school.
I mean, the problem is like the cost of education has gone up over the years, but the quality of education hasn't.
Expensive.
Yeah, the quality of education hasn't gone up proportionately. So it's not like you're coming out with like these amazing degrees, and actually, if now anything, degrees mean nothing.
Right. Yeah, and the only thing that I would combat that with is the amount of scholarship opportunities now, though.
Yeah.
Is you're seeing a ton of them. I mean, you can get a bunch of stupid ones, but then a lot of them that are like legitimate and through the school and stuff. Because I mean, you can go on some website, Google a bunch of, you know, random scholarships and maybe get $50 from one. But like, there are a lot of very attainable, like legitimate scholarships that I think are available for students now. And I think if people, you know, really took the time to look for them, you're going to find them.
Right.
I'm not saying that, you know, if you didn't find a scholarship, it wasn't that you didn't try.
No, I 100%. I get you.
I'm saying I think a lot of the people are, you know, whining and crying. College is too expensive, and they're not, you know, really going to see what they can do for themselves to lower that cost.
Right. That makes sense. So
it depends on the school too, because some schools really just screw you over, and they're already expensive. So like, that's how it was at Alabama. Alabama was so much money.
Yeah, but see,
Really?
like no one asks
Are you still at Alabama?
No, I'm transferring out after this
Oh,
year.
really? Where at?
I'm gonna go to KSU online.
Gotcha.
So
well, see, that's the thing. See, no one asks you once you graduate, when you're applying for a job, where did you graduate from?
Yeah.
And so Dell asks, you know, how do you measure the quality of a degree? And if for some reason, if I can go to UGA and get the same degree I can get at GGC for half the price at GGC, why would I not just go to GGC? Like, they're the same quality of education. You're just charging me so much more at UGA.
The experience and the connections.
Yeah.
You don't find,
That's
you're not going to
fair.
find connections at GGC.
No, you're not.
I will agree with that point. The networking opportunities that you get in college, and especially at, you know, certain universities and colleges, those can be huge. So I know at least at my school, like the connections that I already have are ridiculous, you know, like just by people that have been ex-athletes and stuff like that. You see one of them on LinkedIn, they know what you went through, like all that stuff. So if you apply there, hey, you know, if they had this GPA while being a student athlete, they know how to, you know, do this kind of stuff. And
that's part of the benefit of a fraternity though, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing is I kind of compare the two because like you get in that lacrosse room, those are your brothers, you know, like those guys will be with you for the rest of your lives. And I mean, all of us, we'll still Zoom call, you know, with 80 guys and all have Friday beers and stuff, you know, like, it's stuff like these are your brothers.
Yeah.
And so once after college, you know, if you see that one of them works in some place that you might want to go to, or like just some sort of field or anything like that, you know, those are really valuable assets to have. And it's not like you meet one group of 80, right? Every year. So my freshman like recruiting lacrosse class was, I think, 37. And so imagine that every year you're adding another 37 on top of how many people are already there. So like you're constantly expanding that network. And it's the same thing with the fraternity is you're constantly getting new people in addition to the old ones. And so it's just a great way to meet all these people and, you know, really network and stuff.
Yeah, I think frats especially get this sort of bad rep, or sororities, fraternities, whatever. They get these bad reps because they're like, oh, you're paying for your friends. It's like, no, well, you're like meeting all these connections where in the end, their success can translate into your own success.
Yeah.
So
you're paying for parties. You're paying for parties.
Yeah.
You're not paying for your friends.
No.
They just come along.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that, you know, someone else's success would translate to your success in the long run just because you made a connection with them at college or something like that. So I think you're right on that.
You can make a good amount of connections just about anywhere, though.
No, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the ease of access that is
at
a big school.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Like for sports, if you're all in for the same thing, you're gonna have even stronger connection with those people.
Yeah, but does that connection really equate out to the ginormous tuition differences between like some school like UGA and GGC?
Well, not in the matter of like going there in the first place. Like you don't know the people going there in the first place.
Yeah.
I will say this about like just at least the GGC and UGA comparison is like I know a lot of the people at GGC, it's more you go there for class and get out.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not really.
Yeah, you're there for the degree.
Right. You're not there for the experience. And so with that in mind, you're not going to get the same connections as UGA where, like you said, your freshman year, you met an entire floor and you were all best buds and stuff and doing all this stuff together in addition to getting that degree. So like, I think it's kind of what you're submerging yourself into rather than like you're paying all this money to have connections, you know?
Right. But that's the thing. That's the question is like that connection. Is that worth the difference in tuition costs? Like GGC, I literally could pay for GGC like out of my pocket in one semester because that's how cheap it is. And it's the same degree when I come out. Partially, that's the reason why I'm doing online classes right now for a master's program because no one gives a shit. Yeah. Like no one cares where I go to school. They just want to see that I have a master's degree and I've graduated, I've done the work, I've got my credentials. Let's move on.
You just gotta have that discipline for a degree.
Oh, especially online,
like to be able to show a degree over somebody else, and especially like a master's program that just shows you're disciplined.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like sports. If you're a student athlete, it just shows you discipline. But if you join a fraternity, that's not necessarily discipline. That's just you paying to go have fun and meet people.
Yeah. Let's see. David said, I didn't join a frat because they can be expensive. Plus, I've kind of outgrown the party culture that most of them on my campus have. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Kaylor in the chat. Yo, how did you manage to get Paul Rabel on the podcast? What did I miss? We were talking about student athletes and then college tuition. So, talking about, you know, the tuition costs between UGA and GDC and even KSU. You know, KSU is significantly cheaper than UGA.
Yeah, it is. Especially online. Online is stupid cheap.
Yeah, I highly recommend online classes to anybody that can manage the discipline. Like, you have to discipline yourself.
Being online is 10 times better because professors like actually have to have plans because you're not meeting with them.
Yeah.
I liked the whole coronavirus school situation.
Yeah. Hello, Carlos. I mean Kaylor, student frat league.
I think with the online education, the only thing that I would say against Dylan's argument with the no one gives a shit is it depends what online degree program you're getting. So if you're going to like a KSU online or like, you know, UJ online or like one of those schools that might be a little bit more recognizable, that I think will help you. But if you're going to like some of these ones that you might see on like a commercial or something, just a free online program or something like that, I think that might not be as effective, especially in the sense that like a company could be like, okay, well, they did online courses, but how much of that was Quizlet? How much of that was Course Hero? how much that was Chegg, you know, how much of that were they actually
Chegg works
retaining
miracles.
Yeah, don't you be talking shit about Chegg, bro.
No, I loved it. Shoot, dude, I borrowed my roommates, and my God, my finals were great. but that's what I'm saying though, is like, how do employers look at that?
Yeah, but
you know,
I see. I know a lot of people that graduated from the school. Like, so I'm going to Walden right now, and Walden's one of those windmill like get your degree. They try and bring in as many people as they can. And if you pass the program, you pass. If you don't, they don't really give a shit. Like, they're just trying to get your money.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of people that have actually graduated from Walden and have good jobs. You know, one of my teacher's friends that just got her master's, she graduated from it. I know a nurse practitioner that graduated from there. So they don't really care where you go to school. On your resume, you don't have to put, I graduated from UGA, I graduated from Walden. You just have to put.
As long as you're competent in your job and know what you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, a lot of degrees right now are becoming sort of useless with people in higher up fields, like more technical skills, especially in like computer science fields. Why do you need a degree in computer science field? Like, as long as even if you have a degree, like, it doesn't mean that you're technically competent. And that's what people are really looking for now, is the competencies. Like, what is your competency in? Like, are you actually technically literate, or, you know, do you just have a degree?
Did you do it for a semester and then forget it?
Yeah. So I mean, no, I'm not shitting on your
Taylor.
I'm not shitting on your CS degree. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, like, you don't have to. Just because you have a degree from a specific school doesn't mean you're technically qualified for a specific position. Just like if you have a degree from an online program doesn't mean you're not qualified. So it's all about competencies.
Right. And I think at least with the degree though, the company, if you have a graduation in that field, then the company knows at the very least at some point you knew how to do that sort of thing.
Right.
Whereas if you don't, it's a little bit more difficult for them to know what your competencies are. Because, you know, two resumes, one graduated, one not, they're both going to say, you know, this program literate and they know how to do this and that. They're both going to say the same thing. So it's just like, okay, well, how do I, you know, especially for young people going for that first job where they don't really have a reference to say, okay, yeah, I did this same job at this company, you know, pretty much going through college and stuff like that, or at least high school, you just work whatever job you can get. And you're most likely not going to land those higher up jobs that you're chasing, you know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
So, like, to put on your resume, like, if you were going for that field and you hadn't gotten some sort of education, right? And you just say, oh, I know all this stuff. And then you put it on a college graduated resume, then at least they know you have taken coursework and stuff like that at some point that tested that you actually do know how to do that to some degree.
Right.
Whereas this person says they do, but you don't know to what degree they know how to do that stuff, or if they actually do know how to do it.
Right. So I'm going to get to some of these comments because it looks like a lot of people are science majors. Computer science. So I've probably rattled the barrel here a little bit. What's up, Randall? Bit. How you guys doing? Yes, Ali. Oh, what's up? I know you're a CS major too, and I'm not shitting on CS majors. That's not what I'm saying, obviously.
I think you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops. All right, Dylan. Daydreams canceled. All right, let's just go home. David's a computer science major too. So that's not what I'm saying, but obviously there are people without computer science majors that have proven they can get a job. So it's based off it, specifically, at least with computer science. And I feel like I need to explain myself here because I don't want to piss anybody off. Specifically with computer science, at least, it's like you don't need the degree, but it definitely helps. But yeah,
that's another thing that I want to build off of is, like, especially in fields like that, like, you do know people that will go on and do that stuff without an education.
Right.
But you're going to know a lot more that did get the education.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like it just the ratio and stuff.
Well,
like how much more likely you are to get one with a degree, and especially on those types of.
Well, here's a question.
Fields.
Well, I guess this goes out to my CS major friends. would you hire somebody that is self-taught in a CS field, or would you rather have a college graduate? So that's a question for all my CS majors. Because I mean, that's
it. Still depends on whether they're even good at it.
Right. It's right. Like, so that's the point.
Are they like equal? Are they equal talent than self-taught because they're easier to like navigate around problems?
Well, are we discussing this based strictly off of a resume that an employer's looking at, or do we know these people like that? I think
no, we don't know these people. You just got two random resumes. One has a degree, one is self-taught.
Then I would take the degree.
I think the degree.
They got tested on stuff. They actually had to take quizzes and tests.
I'm not saying that person is truly more competent in any way, but I'm saying that like at least at one point they had exposure to that.
That makes sense. You know, I mean that makes total sense.
There's totally more proof.
That makes total sense
behind what they did.
All right, I'm gonna
on the whole school thing. I'm really glad that employers don't ask for GPAs.
Yeah, I need to go back to some of these comments real quick. Let's see. I despise online classes. I learn way better in person. Luckily, ain't no employers. Employers ask me for my GPA. Yeah. Times have changed when it comes to school and degrees. What do you mean, Dell? Expand upon that, please. I actually hope an employer asks my GPA. Ali, oof. Ali is Sia. She gonna beat you up. Employers will not ask your GPA. Again, hey, Randall, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Internships are very important. Don't just get a degree. Internships are paramount to getting jobs. It's basically the loophole in the I need experience to get a job and I need a job to get experience dilemma. My man Paul got the security camera quality. It really depends. Talent and personality play a huge role.
Yeah, I like Kaylor and Dell are basically right. Internships are awesome, except they're just not paid most of the time, which I think
that's changing now. Like a lot of them are paid because of labor laws.
Yeah, but like there's still a good bit of them that just aren't worth the money. Like you don't get paid enough to do what you do.
I mean, the thing is about internships though, is it's not necessarily supposed to be a job. It's supposed to be like that. I think you said it was Randall that said it was trying to get that experience to put on your resume. So, you know, a company knows, okay, they've done this. They have, you know, worked for another person to successfully do this. And if the company says, yeah, no, don't hire this guy, he did not do this internship well, then they know, okay, he may have a 4.0 or whatever in this field, but he doesn't know how to do it, you know, in application.
Right. And I think Ellie makes a good point. She says, since CS is quite a popular field, now going into it, I was told I needed to go somewhere that employers would recognize in order to beat the people who have been programming since elementary school. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with a lot more of these competitive fields. I mean, which is what sucks, right? So even if you're good at it and you have the experience, you have the competencies, if someone has more, I guess, experience than you do, then you kind of need a better credentials per se.
Right.
A lot of these internships will lead into jobs though. Like the employers that give you internships will most likely give you a job once you graduate, or even like a summer job or whatever they can provide if you do good.
Right.
Which is
and that's the thing that sucks, is this was supposed to be my internship summer, and just all of those ones that I'm applying for and everything like that just all got canceled. And I was just like, well, that's fun.
Let's see. Randall says, I never graduated, but I can take a VCR or any electronic apart and put it back together. Like brand new. I think that's what that means. Yeah, I mean, so he no degree, but he has the competencies.
Right, and that's not. I'm not saying that.
No, I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying that.
Well, what I'm trying to answer him. I'm not saying that you're stupid or that you don't know how to do what you're doing. I'm saying if an employer is handed two resumes, they have never met you, don't know what you look like, you know, never had an interview, anything like that. They are just looking through the interviews. I firmly believe that they're going to go with someone who has the college degree over the person that doesn't, because they know that's at least a little bit more secured. Whereas you may be a lot more competent than that other person.
Well, I understand that at first sight, looking at a resume does show that somebody would have competencies, quote unquote. But Dell and I have met many people that we have worked with that would technically have the degree qualification, but don't know a damn thing that they're talking about.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, and that's one of the things about interviews, though, is like it gives you a chance to actually talk to the person itself. What I'm talking about is sheerly just when you get the resume.
Right. I know. I got you.
I think you're going to be more inclined to choose that person, but you might meet them or like you hire them for, a month or two and they're just idiots, and you're just like, well, damn, I wish I would have gone with that other guy or at least tried him out or something. So
yeah,
I'm definitely not saying that a degree means you're good at what you do, you're a genius and all this stuff. I'm just saying I feel like there's still that stigma where companies are going to go more towards those people.
Right. And I think that's where, a lot of people are pushing back now, especially like you'll see Elon Musk talking about, I don't give a damn where you went to college, like, or something like that. He just cares if you're competent and you do the job right.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I'm not so sure, like degrees. I think companies are kind of starting to be more aware of that and take that into consideration. Because in my opinion, if you're self-taught, that shows to me that you have the discipline to do something, that you're actually interested in this. This is something you're passionate about.
I was gonna say, like, it's a drive for it. If you have the discipline to teach it yourself, like early, then you definitely know what you're doing, and you've been through a lot of work to figure it out.
Right. So, like, especially someone that's been like a CS or even like an electronics, they've built that competency up through self-driven motivation instead of like a degree program. Yeah, the degree program shows that you've passed tests and you're technically competent in a degree sense. But I mean, in my opinion, it's nice to see someone self-driven because that they're motivated, they're self-motivated. And I think that's important to consider as well. I'm gonna go to some of these comments real quick.
All right.
Let's see. Interns are getting experience instead of paid, like athletes getting education instead of paid. Why would I pay someone who doesn't know what they're doing? They're there to learn. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm not saying advocating for it. I'm saying just a fact that a lot more companies, because of labor laws, have been moving towards paid internships.
Right.
And a lot of the interns are saying, I don't want to work for free. Yes, you are learning, but at the same time, you are still doing a lot of that grunt work.
Yeah, you're still working and doing the job and working.
Yeah, I don't, Mom, I'm sorry for my French here, but you're basically being the company's bitch. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, you should get some sort of. I think you believe that philosophy, Dell. You pay our interns, so I mean.
Yeah, I think the interns, you also got to understand that they're probably within, that 20 or 19 to maybe 22 age range where they're probably starting to see some expenses that they got to pay.
Yeah.
And so if they're working 5 days a week, it's going to be hard for them to, find employment elsewhere on the weekends where they can get enough to cover costs.
Well, it's becoming more competitive now to get interns because now why would this intern come work for me for free if they can go to that internship and get paid?
Exactly.
I mean, so even internship is becoming competitive. So it's like, wow, okay. I'm gonna go to some of these comments again. What I find unjust is that you live in a world that you would that will hire you to use you and then break you down just to throw you away. Internships are what?
It's called capitalism.
Yeah. Internships are a good way for employers to get a fresh talent if they perform. If the intern performs poorly, there is no commitment. While I did go to college, I did not graduate and ended up making a very good salary as an executive. Also, being teachable is very important. If you're a likable person that is willing to learn, then you will have you will succeed better than a person that is stubborn and is hard to work with.
Honestly, being teachable, that's probably the most the single greatest trait to have in an employer field.
Yeah. If you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I mean, So, I mean, again, that goes to the self-taught field. So, I have to agree with that. Oh man, dude,
I do.
Go ahead.
I do like the idea of trade schools, though, man. Like, I feel like those schools are just no bullshit. No, you're going to school for one thing and you're being taught, freaking Sophocles or something. Like, you're there for 2 years.
Most of them are free.
Yeah, like you're learning what you need to learn. You're in and out 2 years, like, and then boom, right away. Like,
and you're getting apprenticeships too. So
yeah,
like, you'll literally be working on the job site learning,
right,
and you're still getting paid.
Yeah,
I think there's a movement towards awesome. Trade school right now. Like, there's a movement that pushes trade school over your general education, going into the university system. But from what I know and from what I've seen, is there's like this push towards trade school.
Right, and that should be. I have like 3 buddies that started off at the Abbey with me, and now they're all at trade schools, and
yeah, but the problem is trade school wasn't very saturated at first, but now that there's this movement to go towards trade school, it's going to become saturated, and
because people are realizing that there's a lot of money in it. There is a lot of money in coming out with like a trade, and there's no cost to you for school, so there's no expenses or debts coming out of it.
Right.
You're literally making money,
right?
And you're making of it.
Yeah, which is the complete opposite for college, because you go to school, you get in a bunch of debt, then you have to find a job, get experience, and then
you got to work up that pay grade and at a slow pace.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like the pace you also grow at depends on how good of a worker you are, how much drive you show. When you get there, are you just working 9 to 5 right off the bat, or are you actually working those late night hours, getting there early, working weekends, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, true. Like, but still, when you're first hired, they're not going to give you a very.
No, I'm saying everyone starts with a base salary. I'm saying how quickly you go beyond that base salary is mainly depending on the company. I mean, there are going to be some of those companies which are just assholes and don't value work, but for the most part, if they see you, working your tail off, you're going to move up at a decent pace.
I'm trying to figure out what Chick-fil-A does, because they got some magic system over there with their employees.
They do.
One day we'll have to talk about I'm gonna have to have Dell back on, and we're gonna have to talk about managing employees and developing like a proper work environment, because that's partially the route to success that you need, especially when growing in any sort of internal field.
Start your own company.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Dude, that's one of the things I do like about the jobs that I've had that have been like a lot of bottom level stuff, is just the amount that you learn from a manager's perspective of like how much better things can be run by just such small things. And I think the biggest thing is communication, man. Like those managers, they don't listen to shit from the bottom level. And if they were to listen to this small stuff, listen to what's actually going to make them money, they would be doing so much better, but they don't. They think, oh, well,
and their employees will be happy.
Yeah, but I mean,
work harder.
They always have that, or a lot of managers I've worked with have that mentality of I'm higher than you, so my way is the right way.
Have you seen Simon Sinek's videos?
I hate that.
No.
So Drew is. I'm surprised, since Drew hasn't sent you any Simon Sinek videos. No.
No.
So sorry, Simon Sinek is this guy that is like a complete advocate for leadership in the workplace, and so that's part of what he preaches is, it's like, instead of this trickle down effect where the good deeds or the good vibes come from the higher ups and they goes to the employees, you want to do it the opposite. You want to get like this trickle up. You take care of the employees and the employees take care of you. So
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Chick-fil-A does really well, and that's what my homeboy Dell does well. That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
Gotta shout you out. But it's Chick-fil-A takes care of their employees. I mean, their employees take care of them. So
yeah,
a lot of them are high schoolers though, and they just get scholarships.
Well, they get scholarships, but if you stay with Chick-fil-A, I know they have a lot of really good programs. Especially in like their marketing department and stuff like that, where they'll pay you to go like to a different state or something like that and do all these because I got a buddy who's fiance's in that right now, and I mean, they really do have some neat opportunities there.
Yeah,
it's a good program. It's a good organization, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, that was a great conversation. We're closing in at about an hour. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, right.
It goes by fast.
It goes by real fast. When you hear the hour, you're like, damn, that long, and then all of a sudden you get started and it's all over.
Yeah.
Got anything else you'd like to add, Jason? Before next time?
Let's see.
Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button, Jason. You know?
Sorry, dude. I hope you know I am the worst at this stuff. Like me and Buff. Okay, it goes. Drew's all the way up here. I'm right about here. Ryan's down there. This is all with technology stuff.
Ryan.
Right? Dude, they literally I said, here's the money, just whatever you want to build. And they're like, well, we got to get this part. I said, I don't care. Don't tell me all that. I don't know what any of that is.
Just build me a PC, bro.
Build me the PC. Here's the money.
Yeah.
Bring it over. And it was pretty much just like, all right, here you go. Figure it out now. I'm just like,
I should have done that.
Yeah. I mean,
I had to build mine and buy all my crap, and that was a process.
Yeah, I have, and they're all like, oh man, I'm surprised. And dude, I just don't even know, man. I just sit here and I'm content with it, but they're all like, dude, man, you gotta start upgrading. I'm like, it works fine. Like, I don't see why I need to upgrade.
Gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the only time I use my MacBook now is for this, like Zoom and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Just get that webcam. Get that webcam, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's why we got the premium quality over here. The 60 frames per second, bro.
Here, let me move my mouse real quick.
60 frames. Actually, I think this might be 30.
Yeah, you got 30.
I got that 1080p at 30 though.
That looks good.
I don't know what any of that
Cool,
means.
man.
See, that's what it looks me.
Just numbers.
Rock me.
Right. Dang, my brain is fried right now. I don't know why, but like today and yesterday, my brain has just been like ADD, man. I've just been all over the place. I'm surprised I was able to keep it together for this conversation.
Dude, I've been stuck on straight camp video for the past like week. It's been a process.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Strickland is using alien tech.
Always.
But thank you again, guys. So I guess I'll
Hey, thank you, man. I had a great time.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys on Zoom for just a few minutes. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. I will see you all Thursday with our next guest. So you guys take it easy.
Hey.
Bye guys.
See ya.
That's it.
3, 2